In the beginning of the movie, we see a group of players. These players are traveling to another country for their match. They appear extremely joyful. Their family members are also preparing to travel outside the country, but the region from where their plane is scheduled to depart is heavily covered in snow. The plane lifts off and only a short time passes. As they approach the snowy mountains, the plane begins to shake severely. A snowstorm is active in that area. Because of it, the plane starts trembling rapidly. Slowly, the plane slips out of control and it starts descending. The pilot keeps fighting to stabilize the plane. He continues trying to maintain balance, but the plane does not come under control. The plane suddenly crashes into a massive mountain. The impact causes the aircraft to split into two parts, and those parts fall at different locations. The severe incident destroys all supplies inside the aircraft. Many people receive serious injuries, while some individuals do not survive at the site. After some time, the uninjured survivors begin pulling out the trapped individuals. Cries are echoing everywhere. Unresponsive bodies and marks are visible across the area. The survivors are trying to support one another. These passengers move toward the cockpit to check on the pilot, and they find that the pilot has also not survived. Within some time, night arrives, and they remain trapped among the snowy mountains. During the night, the temperature drops intensely. To protect themselves, they lie inside the large section of the plane, and they close its entrance using supplies and unresponsive bodies. Everyone is deeply distressed by this severe incident. They are in a state of profound shock. Some have such serious injuries that they cry out in pain. When morning arrives, they discover that 4 or 5 individuals haven't survived due to the cold. After sunrise, they step out of the wreckage, hoping to find a route to escape this place, but they see only endless snow and mountains. They have no idea where they are or what may happen next. Hunger begins affecting them, so they start searching for something to eat. They pull out all the bags. They find only a small amount of food, along with a few pieces of clothing. They gather whatever food and essential supplies they can. They begin eating whatever they find. But their group is large while the food is extremely limited. It cannot last for many days. Soon a plane passes above them. They become overwhelmingly happy at the sight, and they begin shouting for help. They believe rescue may finally arrive, but unfortunately the aircraft passes over them, and their cries remain unheard because the aircraft was flying at a great height, and they were not visible from that altitude. Then we see a boy inside the wreckage regain consciousness. The boy's name is Nando. As he wakes, Nando begins searching for his family members. He finds his sister. Her condition is extremely severe, and he learns that his mother and father have not survived. Hearing this, Nando becomes deeply heartbroken. They do not even have water to drink, so they melt the surrounding snow to create drinking water. They lift a few bags from the site, and they create a large X symbol across the snow. They do this so that any plane passing above can notice them, and so they may be rescued from this place. But another plane passes above them, and it does not notice them. Seeing this, they become extremely distressed, and many begin crying out of despair. They now understand that they are trapped in a place from where they cannot be seen by anyone, and the authorities had indeed sent aircraft to find them. But none of them have been able to detect the survivors. Then a few survivors recall something, that the rear section of the plane contains batteries, which can possibly power the radio and maybe help them find a way out. A few survivors climb upward to search for the rear section, but soon the snow above begins to slide, forcing them to return quickly. Many days pass in the same struggle, and they complete nearly a week in this harsh place. Gradually, all their food supplies run out. Friends. This place is so isolated and covered in snow that no animals exist here and no plants of any kind that could help them survive. They suffer from extreme hunger, so they begin consuming the thin layer of moss found on rocks. As hunger intensifies, their desperation rises, and they even chew on their shoes, their laces, and the filters of cigarettes. The next day, when Nando wakes up, he discovers that his sister has also not survived. The sight fills Nando with deep sorrow. 21 days have passed in these extreme conditions. Some survivors are suffering from overwhelming hunger, so they decide to use the remains of those who did not survive for survival. They use small glass pieces to take minimal portions required for survival, and they consume it with deep hesitation. After some time, a few survivors find a buried bag beneath the snow, and when they open it, they find a radio inside it. Friends, this moment takes place in October 1972. The survivors use their skills to build an antenna for the radio, and when they turn the radio on, they learn that the authorities have already sent more than 60 planes to search for them. The government now assumes that all of these passengers have not survived, and the government decides that it will no longer continue the search. Hearing this completely breaks the survivors from within, and they fall into deep sorrow. The survivors now feel that staying alive is nearly impossible, and that slowly each of them may lose the fight for survival. Then we see 3 boys moving forward to locate the missing tail section. After walking for some distance, they finally find the broken section of the aircraft. During their journey, night falls upon them, forcing them to attempt to rest there. But the cold is so intense that none of them can fall asleep. And when the next morning arrives, they find themselves buried deeply under snow. This situation leaves them in a severely weakened condition. Yet they gather courage and force themselves out of the snow, and they sit on the broken segment and slide back down toward the others. All the survivors now gather inside the fuselage, and they spend their time talking to one another. Repeated snowstorms keep hitting this region. One such day, while they are sitting and discussing, a sudden and violent snowstorm strikes the fuselage, flooding the entire cabin with snow and burying every person inside the aircraft. The fuselage becomes completely submerged in snow, but a few survivors are outside at that moment, and they desperately dig through the snow to rescue their companions. After some time, all the trapped survivors manage to come out, but one woman who had been buried too deeply does not survive. Shortly later, they hear troubling sounds again, and they instantly realize that another snowstorm is approaching. And once again, the storm crashes into them, burying the survivors under snow for the second time. This leads to the loss of several more individuals. All remaining survivors are trapped beneath the snow, and one brave boy strikes the windows of the fuselage, trying to create an escape route. After great effort, he manages to open a small passage, and slowly every survivor crawls out through that opening. Many days have passed for the survivors here, yet some still hold hope that they can stay alive, so they decide to send a small group to search for help. But some who previously climbed the mountain are now in severe condition. One survivor has fluid in his lungs, and his condition becomes extremely weak. A few days later, that companion does not survive. On the 36th day, the weather clears. Nando and a few others climb the mountain to seek help. Among them is a boy with a severe leg injury. He suddenly collapses due to exhaustion. The group tries to lift him and take him back. He tells them that he can return on his own and urges them to continue forward for help. The remaining survivors move ahead, and the injured boy returns alone to the wreckage. As the group continues forward, they find a broken section of the plane. Seeing this, they call the other survivors to the spot, because this location contains a large amount of supplies. They gather all food and essential items they can find, and they collect clothing as well. They then find batteries in the wreckage, hoping to attach them to the plane systems and send a signal. They try sending a signal using the batteries, but no response arrives because the radios are no longer functional. When they realize the radio is damaged, they grow deeply disappointed and sit down in exhaustion. They find a large sheet inside that section of the plane, a material that does not allow water to pass through. They stitch it together to create makeshift sleeping bags so they can sleep inside for warmth. After a few days, they hear news on the radio that they have been stranded here for 58 days, and the authorities will send another aircraft to search for them once more, hoping that if the survivors are still alive, they may be located. Hearing this, some of them say that this may be their final chance at rescue, and they should climb upward to increase their chances. But soon after their injured companion does not survive, the one who had the leg injury, his passing fills the survivors with deep sorrow, because before he lost consciousness, he had said that if he does not survive, they may use his remains for survival so that his loss would not be in vain. A few companions move forward in search of help. After walking a long distance, they reach the top of a mountain. But once they arrive, they realize that an even longer journey still awaits them. At first, they think the journey may be impossible, and they consider returning. But then they remember that returning would end their final chance of survival. So they decide to continue forward. After a long trek, their effort finally pays off, as they discover a clear flowing river. The sight fills them with overwhelming joy. They sit along the bank and drink the fresh water. While drinking, they notice a man riding a horse, and hope awakens in their hearts. They begin shouting for help, but the rider is far from them, and he cannot hear their voices. The man senses that they may be in distress, so he throws a pen and a piece of paper toward them. They pick up the pen and paper and write the details of their situation before throwing it back to him. When the man reads the message, he realizes that they are the survivors of the incident that happened days earlier. He quickly rides away and reaches the town to hand the paper to the officers, explaining the entire situation. As soon as the Air Force learns about them, a rescue team immediately heads out to save them. The man returns to Nando and his companions and takes them to his home to give them proper food. Soon, members of the media arrive, and the rescue team reaches the area. Meanwhile, the companions trapped in the snowy mountains hear this news through the radio. When they learn that their companions and the rescue team will soon reach them, they become overwhelmed with happiness. Soon, helicopters and the rescue team arrive, and after 71 days, they are finally rescued. Only 16 survivors remain alive from the group, and they are taken away safely. Their condition is extremely fragile, so they are immediately admitted to a hospital. The survivors remain alive, but the incident leaves them deeply shaken, and they never forget the experience for the rest of their lives. And with this, the movie comes to an end.